There's a phenomenon I call reviewing the movie while you're still in the theater. You could also call it, reviewing the Airbnb while you're still staying in it. And this isn't obviously limited to movies and accommodations. It's happening all the time where the mind is constantly judging and commenting on how things should be. And this is what draws people to want to fall in love or towards sensory experiences or to drug experiences or to novelty experiences. They're trying to feel the pleasure of that voice stopping, the commentary just stopping for a little while at least. And that's one way to go, obviously, but perhaps the way to go is to bring compassion, unconditional self-acceptance, and say just a thought. So warm heart is compassion, unconditional acceptance, CUSA, and cool heart is just a thought. And we just vacillate between the two of those. If your mind is very busy or if you're very tired, you may have to default to one or the other, and you might find that your mind is still wandering onto these commentaries or judgments or predictions or plans. And that's just the way it is. We are sent down here from who knows where. Maybe we weren't even sent. And there's this mind that keeps wanting to remove the mystery, remove the powerlessness. And the only way it knows how to do that, and it starts from a very young age, I would say, is to do these reviews of how things are, how they should be, how they're falling short. It's so ingrained into our mental process that it is probably impossible to turn it off. So the only thing we can do is accept it and to say to it, thank you, I know that you are trying to address mystery and powerlessness. Thank you for trying. We don't need to try anymore. This moment can just be as it is. This situation can just be as it is. In the present moment, there is no story. Right? Because you don't have enough time for a story. In the present moment, if you can be completely present, there's no review of what this situation is, or what it should have been, or what it could be. That is why some spiritual practices are really down on the idea of hope. Right? Hope is saying, this is not good enough, but I want and believe there's a chance that it will be better, which is a completely natural thing to do, to move yourself out of despair. But what happens if you have the courage to go into the despair? And if you go really into it, like a microscope, but a time microscope, into the very moment of despair, I don't think it can survive, because the despair needs a story about you, the past, and the future to exist. And so it seems like it takes this huge act of courage or will. And maybe at times when things aren't going well, it does, because there's a strong story in place. But perhaps early in the morning, before your day has begun, or late at night, after you've maybe tossed and turned, but then finally worn yourself out. There are these moments of time where the story just doesn't have as much power anymore. And there's a part of your mind that doesn't want that. It wants the story to have power. It thinks you're only safe. You can only escape powerlessness and mystery if you have a story, if you have a review, if you have a commentary, if you have a judgment, a plan, a prediction. So rather than trying to force anything, I would just say that when that part of you that wants to plan, predict, and do those reviews while still in the theater arises, just be compassionate. Unconditionally self-accept it and yourself and the plight of that situation. And don't even think that maybe, you could say, oh, it's all bad. You don't even know if it's all bad. Maybe there are times where that review is there to protect you or has helped you in some way. You're not even there to review the reviewing. You're not there to judge the judging. And so then maybe it softens a little bit. Maybe it doesn't. None of your business. Your only business is to apply warm heart, which is compassion, unconditional self-acceptance, even if in words only, not even in feeling. And then cool heart, just a thought, 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 just a thought.